How's it going, people? Bobby here once again. You might know me online as Ironhammer5, and today we've got a review of the Cloupor Mini Plus, which is a new 50-watt Cloupor Mini with temp control and titanium mode and all sorts of good stuff. So let's not fuck around anymore and get straight to it. So here's the box that the Cloupor Mini comes in, all bright and colourful. Mine's got a black sticker on because mine is black. You can see on the side there the different colours it comes in: blue, orange, white, black and pink. On the back we have some specs, if I get it the right way around. Smart temp control. It has an auto mode, which can it sets your joules for you when you're in temp control mode. 5 colours, mini size, variable voltage, variable wattage, temp control. Removable. I don't know what's removable, but something's removable. Spring-loaded pin, magnets, back cover, stainless steel connector, right and left mode, pass-through, and then at the bottom you have your scratch and check business, which I haven't done because this came straight from Cloupor, so I've got no doubt that it's a real one. That's the box. Who cares about the box? Let's get inside. So we have a manual which has various interesting stuff. You can see on here actually the different colours. I think the orange one looks super cool. Sorry about anything that looks a bit washed out. In my current lighting situation, I do apologise for that. I'm trying to turn it this way. If I turn it this way, it just goes white. If I turn it this way, it kind of goes coloured. But they're like upselling you for the dual battery Cloupor GT already on here, saying if your battery's not long enough, maybe try the Cloupor GT with longest battery playtime. So then also you get a Cloupor VIP card. Check me out. I'm a Cloupor VIP, people. Then you get one of these weird extendable USB cables which extend out, and then you can't figure out how to get it back in again, but you have to pull it out. I can't get it all on camera obviously, but it's kind of like one of those Chinese finger thingies where you have to push to get it out, but the opposite, you have to pull to get it in. Then you get this, which is a little tub of tiny little magnets to go in the door. So if you lose a magnet at any time, you've got spares. At first I thought maybe this was their way of saying your magnets ain't fixed in very good, so you might need these. But mine have been fine actually. I haven't had any trouble with the magnets. Then of course you get the device, which comes in this white silicone sleeve, which gets all juicy inside, as these silicone sleeves always do. You can kind of see it on there. So let's get it out of there. Let's take a look at it. If I can get it out. Come out. There we go. So here's the mod, guys. It's black, so it's a little bit hard to see in this light. It's got this funky finish on one side. It's smooth on the other side with Cloupor Mini Plus on there. On the front you have your power button and your fire button and your up and down buttons. On the top you have that stainless steel spring-loaded connector, which I've had no trouble with any of my atomizers fitting onto. On the bottom you have a USB port for charging and a random little hole which I'm not quite sure what it's for. Could be venting. It's got like a little brass thing inside there, if you can see it. I don't know what that is, but there's a hole there. And it has this nice metallic finish which you might be able to just about catch on camera. It's got little flecks of glittery metallic finish inside the paint there. And it actually looks really nice, and it feels really nice to hold too, and it's super tiny. So before I go into the screen and all that business, let's have a little comparison of size wise. This is it next to a Sigelli 75 watt. You can see it's quite a lot smaller. This is it next to an iStick 30 watt. It's pretty much the same size. The iStick 30 watt is a tiny bit smaller, but it's really pretty much the size of an iStick 30 watt when you hold them side by side. And just another common mod to compare it to. This is it next to a Coolfire 4, which is also, once again, quite a bit smaller than the Coolfire 4. So it is really tiny for a 50 watt mod with temp control and titanium mode and all that stuff. So it's just really good. Another thing before I turn it on, this battery door is a little bit wiggly. Doesn't want to stay there very well. You give it a little pull more, it will come right off. That makes it easy to change your battery, of course, but it does wiggle a little bit. You will find yourself, when you're holding it, you will find yourself sort of fiddling with it like that. I wish it had like a little notch or something just to make it catch a bit better so it didn't come off. But it is what it is. If you have it in the case, the battery door's not going to go anywhere. I haven't had any troubles with it falling off or anything crazy like that. It's just a little bit looser than what I would like. I'm sure if you dropped it, it would come flying off there. So let's turn it on. And you see you get this weird animation which takes a little while. It says Cloupor Mini, and unfortunately you can't skip that animation while it's on, so you can't just get to vaping right away. You do have to wait a couple of seconds for it to come on. Once it's on, I'll turn it off again by trying to skip the thing. Once it's on, you'll see it's currently in nickel mode. If you want to switch between the modes, you can hold the up button and hold the down button and the power button, and it will switch to wattage mode, and then it will switch to voltage mode, which is something that many mods don't bother including anymore, so it's kind of cool to have that too. And then it switches back to temp control mode. Once it's in temp control mode, you can hold these two buttons to set your resistance of your atomizer, and if you keep hold of it, it will switch between nickel and titanium. And you can see we're now titanium, the resistance is 0 because there's no atomizer. You can see there's a little T in this bottom corner over here to say that you're in titanium mode, and if we hold those again, it will set resistance, keep holding it, and it will switch back to nickel, and then you'll see a little N for nickel. So we turn back into wattage mode. Now if we hold these two buttons together, it will lock your power so that you can't change your power by mistake. So the buttons kind of change what they do depending on what mode you're in. Also, once you're in to temp control mode, when I get there, if you press up and the power button, it will switch to auto mode. And I've just switched it out of auto mode. It seemed like it was really in auto mode. So instead of setting your temperature in auto mode, it will actually choose it for you all automatically. If I can't get it back into auto mode now, but it takes a little while to learn the different menu options on this thing. They are a bit strange. It does have a bit more than some other mods, but once you get used to it, you can figure it out. I've used the temp control to try it. It works fine. I'm not really much of a temp control vapor, so I have been using it at 50 watts in temp control mode, and I got no complaints. It just vapes and vapes and vapes. I've had no trouble with it getting hot or anything like that. Vaping at 50 watts. Battery life is good at 50 watts even. Once it gets down to about maybe just under a quarter battery life on the meter on the side there, you will notice that it kind of vapes a little bit soft compared to 50 watts. So it's probably not really putting out 50 watts anymore. But once you switch your battery out, it starts vaping properly again. But a lot of mods do that. Other mods like the Sigeli 75 will just straight up not let you vape anymore. So I think I'd rather it let me vape at a lower voltage rather than just stop vaping altogether. So the battery life is good though. I've got no complaints. For a single battery mod at 50 watts, it is what it is. You get enough battery. I go through about 325 hours a day if I use this all day. You can see the connections in there are all good. This is kind of like a springy one at the bottom there to put your battery in. There's a little solder joint on there which could probably be a bit tidier, but honestly I've really got no complaints about it at all, aside from this little wiggly battery thing and the fact, which is just a small thing, when you turn it on you have to wait for all of this like stuff before you can finally vape. Put an atomizer on there. I vaped this down super low actually. If I was down to like I can't remember what it says. Let's have a look in the manual, shall we guys? Does it say what it's supposed to fire down to? But I fired it yesterday at like 0.14 in power mode. It had no trouble, and it vapes to as low as 0.05 ohms. So anything lower than that, it will display atomizer shorted on the screen, or say low resistance. If the resistance is lower than 0.1, I think it's 0.05 in temp control mode and 0.1 in normal mode. Either way, I vaped it down to like 0.14 in power mode and had no troubles with it at all. It worked great. 50 watts. It makes vapor just as you would expect. So let's go and have a little chat about my experience with it. I've been using it for a month now, every single day at work, using it all day, every day. I've had no troubles with it at all. Let's talk about it a little bit more. So, there it was, people. Cloupor Mini, up close, and I'm impressed by it, to be honest. Puts out 50 watts just fine. Temp control works just fine in my experience. Like I said, I haven't used it a lot. I'm not a temp control person. Vape's just fine, and it's super, super tiny. Like I said, it's pretty much on par with an iStick 30, but has all those other good features in it. So, really can't complain. Like I say, I've been using it for about a month, I think, or at least several weeks, and I've been using it at work all day, every single day, with an RDA on top at 50 watts. I've had no troubles with it getting hot. I've had no troubles with like it not working or doing anything wrong or going weird. It's been absolutely fine. Just solid, tiny little mod that I can carry around at work with me with an RDA on top, and I have nothing else to worry about. I can just vape it all day, every day. So honestly, for what it costs and for what it is, like, it's a fucking bargain. Honestly, like, I think they're like £25 if you buy one in the UK, and really for £25 for a 50 watt mod with all temp control and everything, I've got no complaints at all. The door is a bit loose, yeah, it does that, but that's my only complaint really about it. Like, I wish there was a little notch or something to hold it in place. Aside from that, if you want a cheap, solid mod that's going to work, and 50 watts is enough for you, and you don't mind it being single battery, this is honestly not a bad choice. The different colours look pretty cool. Even the black one looks nice. It's just great. I've got no complaints about it at all, apart from that door, honestly. Really can't complain about it. Cloupor Mini Plus. Oh, and by the way, I know the first Cloupor Mini, the 30 watt one, the old one, had some troubles with charging by USB. I don't really charge my stuff by USB. I did charge this up once from empty to full by USB in it. Didn't have any troubles. It charged up just fine. I charge my batteries externally in a charger anyway, because I've got so many batteries to charge. But I didn't have any troubles charging. I only did it once just to make sure it worked. So yeah, that seems to be okay too. It's just great for what it costs and for the size of it. If you want a small 50 watt mod, or with temp control or without temp control, if you're like me, just want to use it in wattage mode, honestly, you really can't complain. Like I say, the door is a bit wiggly, but you get what you pay for, right? What do you expect in a £25 mod? Or even less than that in some places. I think it's a bit cheaper than that too. So I think that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching as always. Do subscribe if you want to see some more vaping videos in the future. You can find me on social media. I'm IronHammer5 everywhere. On Facebook, if you go to /IronHammer5vaping, you'll find my Facebook page too. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye-bye.